Hi there, I am Sarah Colas. Welcome to the Dressing Up podcast, where we talk about all things bridal, dresses, and general dressing up topics. I love to encourage women to dress up while expressing their personal style with confidence on how to do so. Visit sarahcolas.com to book a bridal alterations fitting or even inquire about designing the custom couture bridal gown of your dreams. I'm so excited to talk to you about this next topic. Let's get started. Okay, here we are with Megan Kennedy. She is a local wedding planner in Metro Detroit. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you for so excited.
I'm so glad you're here. This will be a fun conversation. So we're going to talk about just a little bit of everything about your life. First off, we need to note how stinking adorable her outfit is today. Like this hot pink suit. Are you kidding? Where'd you get that from?
This is actually 4 years old from Target, of all places.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's a nice material because it like doesn't wrinkle.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And the pants are really comfortable too. But when I do weddings, I do like to wear a suit of some color. So if somebody needs to like pick me out,
Yeah.
they're like, it's the girl in the yellow suit or whatever, where it's just, I still blend in, but I'm not like, whatever.
This is so smart.
This is a hot tip.
This is a hot tip for wedding vendors. Okay, I love that. Yeah, I did actually wear this bright yellow outfit to a wedding once. It was a colorful wedding, so it was
Yes.
on theme. But
Yes.
like, yeah, everyone was telling me how they're like, I love how I can just find you so easy. I'm like, is that a good or bad thing? I don't know.
Yeah,
It was great.
but
Yeah.
I usually try to keep the tone like similar to what the style of the wedding. Like if it was a black tie, like obviously I'm not going to wear
Yes.
this, but
Yes.
for most
Yes.
weddings, that whatever color I choose in a suit form is.
Do you find that you, as a wedding planner, do you like ever outfit change if you're doing a full day big wedding?
This is funny. I used to just come in like my logo sweatshirt, sweatpants, tennis shoes, and sometimes things are just really busy and I like to look professional. And if I'm in my sweatpants still when the wedding is going on, I'm like, oh, I didn't have time to change. So I really try to show up the way I'm going to show up. So I would like wear this, and sometimes I will wear tennis shoes with whatever I'm wearing and switch into heels or whatever. But most of the time I just stay in my heels, stay in my suit or whatever I'm wearing.
And then you realize they're uncomfortable at like 2 o'clock in the morning when you finally take them off. And you're like, oh wait, those hurt.
My feet actually do hurt.
Yeah. You're so in the zone that you don't quite realize the pains in the moment. That's smart. I wouldn't have thought of that if you don't have time to outfit change and then you're standing there in your sweats. I get it. Okay, so we're going to talk about lots of fun things today. But since we're on the topic of just like clothing in general, I'm going to ask you the question I ask all my podcast guests. Just general dressing up. What is your favorite item in your closet right now? It can be accessories, shoes, it can be anything.
I love feathers right now. I have for like the past couple years. So I do have a dress that I was a minister. I'm an ordained minister. So I wore it to a client's wedding, and it's just the color of it's a really unique like red color. It's kind of like a soft red, and then it has like feathers down it. It was just fun, but also comfortable because I was setting up the wedding in it too. So it's just like very flowing. It has feathers on it. It was just cute and chic and easy to throw on.
I feel like you can rock so many different looks. I'm vibing with your style right now. It's great. You are not too afraid, which I love.
No, I like color and to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're a wedding planner. So
like let's have fun and like just be bright.
Celebration. That's what it's all about. Very good. So you are the founder and lead planner of Kennedy Planning Co., known for thoughtful, detail-driven celebrations and seamless wedding weekends. Okay, what drew you to wedding planning in the first place?
So it's kind of funny how everything kind of came to be. My master's is in public relations. My bachelor's, as you know, is in apparel design. And so in 2014, I had planned my best friend's wedding. And at that point, I had already graduated from MSU and I was doing PR stuff. So I was actively kind of working in the PR industry. And a lot of what I was doing was events, all different kinds of events, nonprofit, corporate events, alcohol promotional events. Like you kind of name what event I was doing, it was everything. And I had planned my best friend's wedding in 2014. And the story behind that is kind of crazy, but we actually all got food poisoning the night of the wedding, like the whole bridal party. And again, things have changed since 2014. So then like typically your wedding party would get up in the morning and set up your wedding. It was just very different. She had a florist and other things, but you would kind of wake up in the morning and like set up some stuff at the wedding. And I was like, everybody was down for the count. It's like somebody has to do that. And that person was me and my husband, who's also kind of part of my company now too. And it's like, we have to set this up and do this. So that day, so many of the wedding guests were coming up to me and they're like, how did you set this all up? Like, how did you do this? And I was like, it's my best friend's wedding and somebody had to do it. And so that's kind of like how it started. And from there, people had just started reaching out to me that were like either friends with her, saw something on Facebook at the time. And it was like, hey, would you want to help plan my wedding? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. It was, it was fun. It was something different.
Seriously.
Yeah, it all kind of happened very organically. And my grandmother was a seamstress. She also owned her own small business. She designed centerpieces. So I kind of grew up with her being like very creative, having her own small business, doing all of that stuff too. And it just kind of like fell into place for me, which I'm really lucky because it just happened.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's great. So MSU has a program called Apparel and Textile Design, and apparently Megan and I graduated a year apart from each other from that same college program. So I can't say I knew everybody in the program. Clearly, I didn't. And I think we've both had glow ups since then, I'm sure. So we didn't know each other then, but it was kind of fun that we graduated from the same program. I tell people I have a fashion design degree, but it was called Apparel and Textile Design, very avant-garde program, very out there type of designs, a lot of art classes we took. The thing that's crazy about this is, I mean, we only had like 15 students graduate from that program every year. I don't know how accurate that number is, but less than 50 for sure. So it was a small program. So to find someone else that graduated with that degree is very rare.
And working in the same industry.
And working in the same industry. So right. In Metro Detroit, it's, yeah. So that is wild. You and I, well, apparently we've met in the past, but after that, your sister got married and I altered her gown a few years ago, which was wonderful. And then you tell me what happened on April 26, 2025.
My 10-year wedding anniversary. So we did a 10-year wedding anniversary shoot, kind of like updated everything, which is fun. And so I found a dress and had you like alter it and make it more fun. It's the best way to put it. I love sleeves and bows and poof. So you made it just more like me.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of fun to talk about for other women too. There's various reasons that people do like little wedding-esque photo shoots years after their wedding for multiple reasons, especially with COVID happening and, things happen. So I think this is greatly encouraging for women to hear that if there's reasons you didn't love your wedding photos or whatnot, you decided to essentially like recreate some wedding photos. And you went and got a whole bridal gown from Beloved Bridal, which is now the Love Club in Ann Arbor. And we altered that and things. But I think that it was really a special thing for you to be able to do. Do you mind sharing why you wanted to retake the photos in the first place?
Yeah, so our wedding photos, I still love them, but I feel like when I look at them now, it's not me, if that makes sense. I also think this is also because I work in the industry, because I see so many weddings now, there's so many options. You can really do whatever you want now. And again, now it's almost been 11 years ago. 11 years ago, it was kind of like, this is this is this.
More tradition.
This very like traditional. I will say my wedding itself wasn't actually traditional. I don't know if you know this. All my bridesmaids were white.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so
that's rare. Yeah.
That is rare. So we all wore white. It was just something different. And people were like, whatever. But my hair was jet black on my wedding day. Like if I showed you a picture of me, you wouldn't even probably know it was me.
Really?
That's like how different I look. So when I have those pictures on my wall now, I'm just like, it's funny because it was like a place in a time in a moment, but that is just not who I am or like how I look now. So looking back on those photos, it doesn't even like look like me, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's just something like fun. Again, to be like, this is us now 10 years later. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Let's dress up. I'll wear a white dress. You wear a suit and let's get a bouquet and let's just like take anniversary pictures just as like a refresher of everything. And it was just fun.
Did you do hair and makeup or did you do your...
I did my own hair and makeup.
So you can get just a dress. Did he wear a suit he already owned?
No, he actually got a new suit made. And so he wanted, again, to like update his wardrobe to like get a new suit. So it just kind of like fell into place. We both like dressing up and fashion and stuff too. So he was like, let's update this. So it was really dress alterations. I got a bouquet made, photographer, and then you doing some alterations to make it more.
I think we don't even count his suit because he's going to rewear that another time.
Yes.
So photographer, dress alterations, bouquet.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Yep. You don't necessarily have to go to like a bridal shop to find a dress. There's so many ways, again, to like dress it up.
Yeah.
You can just get a plain white dress and then like you with the custom sleeves, like making it something like special or unique.
I'm sure we've had a lot of crossover brides, but there was one in particular I just want to briefly mention, Noah Chandler
Yes.
at Plantera.
Yep.
So if you go onto Megan's website and you look at her portfolio page, there's an N and L wedding in there, and it shows all her photos. Her wedding was very unique. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. Her wedding was unique, well, because she wore a black wedding dress. She is just such a beautiful person, and she's also extremely artistic as well. She does photography, art. She's just a really special person. And I think part of having a dress that represents you is so important. So her dress was black, it was celestial, it was so beautiful and so unique. And I'm just so glad she went with it. And her and I still keep in touch, and I just adore her and Logan. They're so great. But
I
her
love
dress
her.
was beautiful. It was
So
so
unique.
unique. Yes, it does like stick out in your mind, but it
Yeah.
still looked bridal. And I think that's
Yes. Yeah.
sometimes what makes people nervous about like a black wedding dress or even like a
Hmm.
color
Yeah.
wedding dress.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to look bridal, and
Yeah.
that's just not the
Yeah.
case. I think
Yeah.
it's so silly to
Right.
say something like that.
100%. She's just like a wonderful human
She
in
is.
all ways.
Yes.
But her dress was really fun. So it was black, and she said she really struggled to find a gown. It was Flora and Lane is the
Mhm.
name of the dress company that she ended up getting it from. But I have heard a couple times about this like celestial galaxy theme type of wedding before. I don't know if you've done another wedding like that before. Don't get me wrong, they are not popular. Okay. So if you're thinking about that theme, you're like, oh my God, so many other people do it. They don't. Okay.
No.
It's very rare. But if you are listening to this and you're planning a wedding like
Mhm.
that, you should really check out her gown because it was
Mhm.
really cool.
It was
It
cool.
had like these like star things all over it. It was perfectly on theme. So
Mhm. It was
that was
beautiful.
really fun. So, talking about wedding planning, now I think this is something like the entire wedding industry already knows, but can you just briefly talk on it for those that don't? Your planning packages, how there's like full planning and how
Mhm.
full planning is different than just day of
Yes.
coordination.
Yeah, so I have three main packages. So there's like full planning. It's like from start to finish, I'm there planning everything. Then my middle of the road packages, you can kind of use me however you want to use me. But a lot of people do use that package to like wrap up a couple vendors and work more towards like the design portion
Mhm.
of their wedding. Again, like kind of making it cohesive, pulling it all together. Wedding coordination is something kind of totally different where you're finding your own vendors. I'm happy to send vendor referrals if you want me to do that again, but it's kind of more you're doing the planning and I'm kind of executing. With that package, I do like to have kind of a check-in call. Usually my more quiet season, like now I'm checking in with a lot of my clients just to make sure like they're still on the right page if they need anything, like have questions in regards to anything, make their timeline for them. So I will say that's something a little different in my package compared to most is I do like to have a check-in call to just kind of take inventory of everything because I am there as a resource for you and we should check in to make sure you're okay because the package technically starts at like 8 weeks. That's when I'm reaching out and connecting with their vendors again, like making sure their timeline's like perfect at that point. But I just again like to check in, make sure everything's going okay. If they're like, hey, we're struggling to find a DJ, be like, oh, here's a few suggestions. Let them know I referred them to you. They do all the reaching out and all of that. But it is very different packages where I'm not like actively planning until a certain point in the package, I guess you should say, or their planning process.
Absolutely. Love that. Thank you. Something I want to mention about that I think doesn't get talked about enough in the wedding industry, and I feel like it's becoming increasingly important. And I think it'd be great for our listeners to hear this conversation just about setting boundaries, especially as a wedding planner. I wouldn't think that people have access to your phone number at any given moment in time because that is a lot. I have found and I've heard that like more of the Gen Z brides, the younger brides are wanting really instant feedback from people, like wanting to send an email and expect a response back within 24 hours for sure, if not much sooner. How should someone expect to communicate with a wedding planner?
So for me, I kind of am an open book where I do give my personal phone number to all of my
Oh
clients.
my goodness.
I am somebody, it kind of goes to what I was saying, how I'd rather like check in with you just to make sure everything's like set from your planning, where I don't want any of my clients to be like up in the middle of the night stressed or like if they have a question for me. I
Yeah.
always say, you can text me, send me an email, and I'll respond to you, whatever, in
Yeah.
24 to 48 hours. But if you need to get that off of your mind and
Okay.
send a
Yes.
message,
Mm-hmm.
please do so we can like
Yeah.
can move on. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
quick answer. Like with emails and stuff, I usually try to respond in 48 hours
Yeah.
is what kind
Okay.
of like my goal is.
Yeah.
And again, to another reason kind of why I made the shift from like PR to wedding planning is because there really wasn't a lot of like interpersonal connection with people. Like I can plan pretty events, but also like the relationship with my clients also means something to me, where I do want them to reach out if they do have a question because I'd rather answer it for them.
Yeah.
So that is something kind of interesting. I do tell all of my clients, like, this is my personal phone number. Like, if you do have a question, like, please text me.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's really good service, guys. It's really good. It sounds like no one's really abused it too much for you. So that's good. Keep it that way, guys.
Yeah.
Please. So she continues to offer this. What is something that couples often delay in wedding planning that they shouldn't? I'll say if there's a particular vendor that you really want, like you've been following them on
That's a
Instagram,
great-
like reach out to them as soon as you get engaged, if not before, if you want to. But even if you don't have a date set yet, I think it's still great. Just get in contact with them, get them on the radar, and book them as soon as possible. I think that, you know, a lot of people think, and it's kind of true, that like hair and makeup, you don't need a book right away, right? But if you already know who you want to work with, just get them on the calendar.
I agree with that too. It's like some people have been following certain vendors on Instagram where they did their friend's wedding. It's better to reach out to that vendor sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Is the moral of the story,
Yeah.
especially if they're a smaller business like me, photography, even like floral too. Like maybe you want to work with a more boutique florist or something along those lines. Like it is better to be like, hey, you did Noah's wedding. Would you want to do mine?
Yeah.
This is the date. Or like, hey, we're getting engaged. Like we'd love to keep in touch or something. Just a sweet, simple message goes a long way too.
Even if you don't have a date set yet, they can often give you the information. So you're kind of like prepared for it, you're ready, you do your budgeting around it. I think it's also easy to fall into the trap of like booking your venue and becoming venue poor is what I call it.
Yes. Yeah.
And you like don't know what other things cost and you're like, oh shoot, I just blew my whole budget.
Right. Exactly.
For all those reasons, it's good to reach out early. But at the same time, don't freak out. Don't feel like you have to engage and book everything immediately.
Yes.
That's not what we're saying.
Yes.
But do the best you can. Something that gets thrown around a lot in the wedding industry is the word timeless. And I have a lot of thoughts on that, and I think we all do. But how important do you think being timeless is, and what does timeless really mean to you?
I think no matter what, at some point, the wedding industry changes or the way things look and feel changes. So, I mean, it could be with anything like photography, the way your photos are captured. And I mean, we can even use the example of me retaking wedding photos 10 years later. It's not when I look at my wedding that I don't think it looks timeless. It just doesn't represent me, or the person in the photos doesn't even look like me. So I think no matter what, it comes down to being like things have changed and you want a different look or whatever. My focus too is like really on what does the client want? Like everybody has different tastes, whatever that may be. And I think in this current state of like our industry, everything's trending. This is on TikTok, this is on Instagram, and you can get wrapped up in like, oh, I saw whatever it may be. I don't even know, but like this is trending. I want this. And is that actually what you really want? Because later you're going to look back and say like, oh, I did this because it was trending. So to me, timeless is what you want, not what is trending or what you necessarily saw 800 Instagram photos of. So to me, timeless isn't really like a trend or like how things exactly look. It's about how you look back and like feel about something. Like I don't look back at my wedding centerpieces and think that's outdated. That doesn't look timeless, if that makes sense.
Right,
I'm happy with how that looked. It was pretty. But shifting now, things could look trending because you just saw something on Instagram and copy and pasted it, if that makes sense.
Yep. And also know just because it went viral on Instagram or TikTok doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah,
it just
no,
means
exactly.
it's controversial and people are commenting a
On
lot
it,
and all that.
Exactly. And even to with trending stuff, is it realistic too? Because some things people see don't understand the budget that goes into something like that. You can take elements of that and incorporate it. But a lot of times what you're seeing on like an Instagram reel or TikTok that's going viral is not realistic, is the best way to put it.
Yes. 100%. I also think that if there's stuff going around on social media and you're like, oh, everyone's doing this right now, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing for my wedding, chances are it's the opposite of timeless.
Right.
Because it's going to get locked into 2026 or whatever year it is you're getting married. So just be aware of that. I think in terms of wedding dresses, choosing a dress that's not in style right now is more likely to be timeless over the years than one that everyone's wearing right now, obviously. But I also don't think it's very important. So you do you. Do whatever you want. When people reach out to you, do they typically already have their venue booked?
It depends on what service that they're looking for. I would say it's probably like 60-40. where 60 of my clients already have
Wow,
their
okay.
venue, 40% don't. So this past weekend, I was driving all over Michigan, scouting out venues and touring with my clients. So it just really depends. Some people really know and other people don't, and that's okay. So it's kind of like when you're booking me for full planning, some people are like, we just booked Plantera, for example, or wherever, and they knew that they wanted that venue, so they just booked it, and now they're hiring me to continue their planning. Where this client this past week, and they were like, this is the vibe we want. Let's scout out and like tour 7 venues. So that's what we did.
Did you plan all those appointments?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
That's probably at least 20 emails right there.
Right, because you have to like figure out like I'm in Grosse Pointe and then I'm in Wyandotte and then like you got to get it all. So you're going like in a nice strategic traveling.
Wow. You earned your pay for that one.
Yes.
You did good. I just had 2 sisters get married, and like the contracts with venues are very confusing and misleading sometimes. Do you get involved with that at all, or do you just leave that with
Yes, again, this kind of goes back where I'd rather you send me your contract, even if you've already signed it and booked it, for me to at least like look through everything to make sure like me and venue are aligned with like the protocols, because every venue is different. And so I would like to look over a contract just to make sure everything looks standard, even though with most wedding venues it is pretty standard, but it is good to read through the rules and their policies, because that's where venues differentiate, where it's completely different at each venue.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Planning a wedding is certainly difficult. If you've just had friends that have gotten married, that is so helpful to ask them for advice and everything. But there's just nothing like an expert that's had the experience. So money well spent on a wedding coordinator for sure. But if you can budget for a wedding planner, you're killing it. You're going to do great. Out of curiosity, have you ever had a gown inspire the entire design direction of a wedding?
Yes, I've had a few clients that have gone like vintage shopping for wedding dresses. I've had a couple find dresses in Chicago at like a true vintage store where the bridal shop, it's more like one woman like curating, but she's just got bins of vintage dresses. So like if you're looking for a certain vibe and like I want my dress to feel like how the centerpieces are going to look, how everything's going to look. So in some ways, yes. Even like too, talking about Noah again.
Yeah.
Hey, Noah.
Yes, I know.
Like her overall theme was celestial, a little witchy, and like I feel like her dress fit the overall vibe of the whole wedding. Like it just all was cohesive. Yeah.
I do think that's a little bit important to slightly match the theme of your wedding. But again, you do you. If your wedding dress looks nothing like your wedding, that's okay. Okay, guys, don't go freaking out on me, please. I really wanted to choose my wedding venue before I started designing my dress. I really wanted that to match. And I do kind of think about that when I attend a wedding, like matching the venue, look at the invitation. Is there a dress code? Like matching the vibes of the wedding, not being too off in color and in level style of dressing up. But also when I work weddings as a day of stylist, I try to like kind of coordinate with that. I think that's important.
It is. And I think a lot of people too on their wedding websites are also putting a dress code or giving more information, like the vibe is coastal chic or whatever. And that kind of gives you like an idea of like, oh, I can dress like coastal or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like you can find attire that matches that overall vibe.
I like direction myself.
I do too.
I like direction.
I think personally, it is nice to be like, okay, like they want us to wear this, and I'm happy to like find something that's fun and represents me to like coordinate with everybody. It is fun.
Whenever I attend a wedding too, I'm like, what color are the bridesmaid dresses?
Yes. And normally you can tell that by the like invites. Things like, okay, they're using a lot of like this shade of green. I'm not going to wear green, but I'll wear a deeper shade of blue or something.
Yes.
Who knows?
It's not totally off. And I go back to this all the time. I should do a whole podcast episode on this, but like the Michigander dressing, I feel like is a little unique in that everyone is so afraid to dress up, like all the time. We're all so afraid. And we all feel like it's the worst thing in the world and such a major inconvenience and totally rude to be asked to dress up for anything. So working in the wedding industry, I'm like, put on your nice dress and go out for a fun night. People are spending money on their wedding. They're spending money for you to be there. So the last thing you should be thinking is, how comfortable can I be?
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's fun to dress. A trend that I also like, I'm talking about something that's trending, is when photographers take pictures of their guests with like outfits or like, I love that when it's like coordinating and they take pictures of like, it may not even be of like the full outfit, but a guest's hand on their purse and it matches it's so cute. And like,
I love
those are memories too that I think you look back and are like, oh, what a cute photo that was. And it kind of takes you back to the moment.
And your couples really like you. Like if you're If you're getting dressed up like that and like matching the theme of their wedding, it just looks like you put effort and care into showing up for their wedding day.
Yes.
And you should be very flattered if the photographer wants to take a picture of your outfit in any way.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
goals, okay? They know the theme of the wedding and they chose
Mhm.
you. So be flattered. What is one common mistake that couples make that adds unnecessary stress to a wedding day?
There's a couple things, but I'm going to use the word trending again. Sorry, everybody. But like, there was a trend on TikTok that said, put your wedding ceremony time 30 minutes earlier so guests show up on time.
Oh,
This is something that was like a thing a couple
oh,
years
I don't
ago.
remember that, but
And
I
I'm
was
like,
looking for it.
we're not doing that. I find that a lot of guests arrive too early, where they're coming an hour before it's ceremony time. And a lot of places too, if we're doing like an outdoor ceremony, you are going to be seated outside for an hour before this thing starts, or an hour and a half, depending on how early you get there. And like vendors are still like working and coming in. So that was a trend that I think did cause unnecessary stress, because guests were showing up before maybe the wedding party was getting there, or family, and it kind of took away from like family seeing the ceremony space before, and there's people there greeting them, and it kind of adds like unnecessary stress, like you were saying, as like people are coming up to parents or the wedding party or whoever who's like seeing something for the first time. I've seen less of that now, but it
Good.
was a couple years ago where people were showing up like extremely early because of that. Like, we want people to
Don't be that
make
guy.
sure that people show up on time, but that's not necessarily like standard protocol, I guess I
Yeah.
should say.
As a day of stylist, I've noticed that when you're like trying to take photos with the bride, like they already did their first look and you're trying to go around the venue, take photos, and then people are like arriving. It's like you got to hide her
Yes.
and all that. So yeah, I think showing up too early is a problem. And the photographer probably wants like some photos of like the ceremony space
Yeah.
all decorated before people walk in.
Mhm.
So just be mindful. Please don't show up too early to a wedding, but don't be late either.
Right.
Maybe get there early and wait in your car for a few minutes. That'd
Yeah.
be perfect.
Yes.
What is your personal non-negotiable on a wedding day?
The wedding day is so busy. So I'm somebody where, like, obviously I listen to music in my car and whatnot, but I do like to have a matcha in hand upon arrival. And I do like a sense of like calm and quiet while I'm setting up. So, like, I'm not into like blaring music from like multiple vendors setting up, things like that. So I do like quiet, which is maybe not normal, but the day gets so hectic and busy. It is nice to have like that moment of quiet. And then I think a lot of people want like their friends and family to do things, but that's why you've hired me, is to execute this for you. So of course, like, family can come see everything, but I don't want, for example, the bride's mom there like steaming linens or like putting centerpieces on the table. Like, of course, come and make sure everything's the way that you want it. I'm not saying that, but it's like, you've hired me to execute your wedding, and let your family be present and be in those moments with you, so you're not like stressed or having like, I don't know, a bunch of running around. It kind of goes to that like sense of calm before it is busy, because it is busy no matter what. So my thing is just like, I'm here to help you set up, execute what we've all planned. And it's just nice to have like your family, friends be in the moment with you, not be in the moment with me setting up, because I have a team and myself that can execute it. So that's kind of a non-negotiable for me, where it's like, I want your family and your friends and your wedding party to enjoy the day and not have to worry about what's happening from a setup perspective.
Yeah. And I think this is something that people really underestimate while they're wedding planning. I think it's really easy to assign people tasks, as you should. You should be doing this.
100%.
But there's a limit. So like, okay, Angela, don't hate me for saying this, but my sister, she had me do all the signage for her wedding, which I can do. I can work my way around Canva. I can do that.
Right.
But it was a lot of work. And I didn't mind doing that for my sister. Again, Angela, don't hate me. But it is kind of true that if you're not hiring those vendors to do those things, then it does fall on somebody.
Yeah.
And it might not fall on the bride and groom, but it falls on other people that are close by that are doing a lot of work already. So
Yeah.
I think that's huge. I got married in 2019. So like wedding coordinators were like still kind of like a new thing-ish.
Yes, yeah.
So I did have a friend that was essentially a wedding coordinator, and I told him, do not let my family clean up from the wedding.
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
If you can do one thing, just don't make them clean up. I don't want them to not have fun partying and saying goodbye to people and all that. So it's really important. So I think it's really great. How do you handle that, by the way, cleanup?
For me, each package is a set amount of hours. So when I'm making that timeline, I'll typically be like, I need this amount of hours based on your just core checklist that I've created to set up all the things that you've provided, whoever's providing. I make a list. Basically, I'm taking inventory of everything. So that kind of puts me where I need to be at the day of the wedding to make sure everything's executed. And so at the end of the night, it just depends on how long that I've been there for. With my wedding coordinator package, I'm there for 10 hours, which seems like a long time, but sometimes it does run over. And I do give flexibility. Like when the clock strikes 10 hours that I've been there, I'm not like, bye guys, see you later, have fun. I'm
Drop
out.
everything and go.
A conversation before about like, okay, this is my goal. This is where I'm going to be landing at. Do you want me to stay for 2 extra hours to clean up, or I can tidy things up for you? So like a lot of clients will be like, take my table numbers off the table. The florist did the candles and the flowers, so those can stay on. They come back to clean up. I usually give a card box to a trusted person, a parent, maid of honor, whoever, to take home at the end of the night before I leave. So like there's certain tasks that I will do if I'm not going to be there for the full amount of time. But usually with my full planning, I'm there from start to finish. There's no problem with that. It is with the day of coordinator package where it is kind of like, sometimes I may be there the whole time. Sometimes we may need to add a couple hours on depending on what the client wants. But most of the time, if they've hired vendors to do specific things, they come back and take those things home at the end of the night. And the smaller details are already kind of taken care of by me. So
True. I keep putting these little plugs in here, but I need to say another one. As the day of stylist, I often get in charge of like transporting the veil and like sometimes fine jewelry. And I don't love the fine jewelry one. So if you have fine jewelry or just like really expensive and or sentimental items, I would suggest having like your very best friend hold on to those things, because that is a lot to put on someone like me, especially when there's so many moving parts. So utilize your bridesmaid still, but just a plug for those really irreplaceable items.
And a plug about that too is kind of goes back where I'm like, friends and family shouldn't be setting up, but you can give tasks to people like you were saying. And that's a perfect task. I want you to be in charge of my veil, telling one bridesmaid, another bridesmaid, you're in charge of the rings or whatever that may be, and having that conversation, you know.
Then everyone's in charge of one thing.
So it's not like everybody's going to set up, but you have your tasks. And it is nice to have a task. It does make you feel special.
And we can help you navigate through all that. We can help you. Figure that out.
In charge of your veil and things like that.
Yep, absolutely. My biggest one too is like the emergency kit that the bridal party always has. It's always with like that bridesmaid that like was the first to get to cocktail hour and she's in line and she's way off and away from the couple that actually needs the emergency kit. So make sure you're aware of where that kit's going, because it's often just like in the back room the whole day anyway.
Right.
But I usually have my stuff on me, as I'm sure you do too.
Yes, I do.
Can you think of a favorite behind the scenes moment working a wedding?
A lot of what I see are like very sweet, like sentimental moments that like sometimes like photography misses, or it's typically between like a parent or like a bridesmaid or something like that. It was actually last year, the bride's dad, and actually I saw it happening. I was able to record just like a kind of like quick moment between them. He was just being very sweet. And I was like in the background, I was like, I'm just going to record this because this is a memory that you think about with your dad. Like I get emotional thinking about it. He was just being very sweet and like hugged her. It was just like,
and they didn't know you were filming, right?
No.
Oh
I was like,
gosh.
I was waiting for them to walk down the aisle. So I had like fluffed her dress. I was getting ready to open the doors, but I saw that they were having this like really like sweet moment. So it's just kind of like letting those kind of moments play out too, and not being like, you have to go down the aisle right now. Like, let's have this moment with your parent. There's a picture from my wedding with my dad where he was fixing my veil. And it's like a picture that you don't at the time think about, but when I'm scrolling through 10 years later and I'm like, what a beautiful photo of my dad, just like making sure my veil is like landing right for this picture. And the photographer just like captured it. I'm like, that is just special. It's just sweet.
That's what it's all about.
It is.
That's
it really is. A lot of people talk about like the decor and the flowers, but for me, it's like when you take a step back and are watching everything unfold and just seeing like sweet moments, I'm like, that's why I love my job and why it's important.
It's so good. The parents always get me too.
I know.
It's the parents.
Yes, the dances, all of that. I just thought of another sweet moment too, was a bride and her dad danced to the Forrest Gump theme song. I don't know, like,
okay.
And her dad like walked out, and I don't know if you've seen Forrest Gump, but like it's the feather going through the air at the beginning. That's the song they danced to. And he like walked up and he had like a feather and he like gave it to, it was like, it was just so sweet. I'm like, I'm gonna, if you see your wedding planner in the corner crying, it was just like thoughtful, sweet, like things that you just don't see all the time. Like that is so perfect.
It's so cute. I worked a wedding once where the husband, because we were at the reception, I just like was talking to him for a brief moment. Like, I'm going to be heading out soon, but like, what else do you need? Like, how are you feeling? He's like, as long as she's happy, I just want her to be happy so bad. Like, if she's happy, I'm happy. And it looks like she's happy, so I'm happy. And it was just like really cute because he was just going on and on about how special she was to him. And like, he's just telling this to me,
Uh-huh.
like at the reception, like go hang out with your guests, but like keep talking. I like this.
Right.
It was just really cute. Like just seeing like the love he had for her was
Right.
so strong. It was so special. What's something that you see in the wedding industry, wedding trends? What is quietly fading? What is going away?
Well, I don't see a lot of like bouquet toss anymore. I haven't seen garter in a really long time, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing less and less of like tossing the bouquet. I'm seeing more of like dedicating it to someone,
Oh,
which is really sweet. I
Mhm.
really like that. So yeah, that's something I'm seeing way less of, is like kind of those like what used to be like traditional moments
Yeah.
kind of like going away.
I feel like in the wedding industry, especially as a wedding vendor, if you have like a hot take on something, it goes viral. So people give these hot takes all the time.
Mhm.
But I'm seeing less and less of the first look. So first look has been really popular from like 2019 till now. And I see this fade away from it. But I feel like, especially you fall wedding ladies, you kind of have to do a first look with the way the sun goes down. And if your ceremony's later in the day, you kind of have to do that. But that's one thing I'm starting to see this conversation of going back to the tradition of seeing your groom at the end of the aisle.
Again, back to like the 60-40 thing, but I
Yeah.
do see a lot of no first look. The way that I kind of view my planning though is that every wedding's unique. So there's different things that are important to every couple. So first look, do you want to do one or do you not? I'm not like pushing either way. So it's really what their opinion of it is. So there will be certain weddings where I'm like, this is the way your timeline's falling. I would suggest a first look. A first look does give you more downtime too, so you can be together as a couple before everything kind of kicks off and gets busy.
I do think if you want photos with the sun out,
Yes.
then
In the
you
fall.
really
You're
got to think
saying,
about
yes,
this.
yes.
If you want a fall wedding and you want photos with the sun out, you pretty much have to do a first look. Unless you're doing like a noon ceremony at a
Agree.
church and then
Yes.
the reception later in the day, fine.
Right.
But that's actually what I did. So start thinking about that. Okay, great. So rapid fire questions here. First thing that pops into your head, a champagne tower or a signature espresso martini?
Signature espresso martini.
Classic black tie or modern editorial?
Modern editorial.
I knew you were going to say that. Outfit change for the bride, yes or no?
Yes.
Live band or DJ?
DJ.
Neutral palette or bold color moment?
Bold color.
Of course. Structured timeline or relaxed flow?
I'm going to actually say both.
Yeah, I was going to say as the wedding planner, you can't be too relaxed, but
You can't, but I do believe in like
a little bit of that.
yeah, my clients can say like, I want this to be relaxed time. Like, great, let's put it in your timeline. Like, you have an hour, you can take extra pictures, you can go join cocktail hour, you can take more pictures with family. Like, this hour is for you. I'm kind of open.
I'm going to plug something in here. If you have like a big chunk of time that you can just relax and hang out, please do not take your dress off. Just leave it on, please. Don't
Oh yeah,
unzip
don't
it.
take it off.
Don't do it. We don't want to do those buttons up twice. Just leave
No,
it on. Okay.
leave it on.
Sorry, ladies, but you need to do that. One planning tip in 3 words.
This is 2 words, but like stay present. I think again, a lot of people get wrapped up with like, even like how we were talking about the timeline, like this has to be at this time, this has to be at this time. It's okay if you're having like a special moment with a parent, your significant other, whatever that may look like, to have a moment to stay present in that and not worry about the next thing you have to get to. Like, I'm there kind of managing everything. So again, like, I see a sweet moment. I'm not pushing you to, you got to do this. I don't like that. There can be downtime on your wedding day where you can soak everything in. So staying present.
You know what I see, and you might see this too. I see the brides while they're wedding planning. I don't see them often on their wedding day. And I feel like the concept of staying present is almost like stressful. Like you're almost like freaking out, like, oh my God, I'm not enjoying it 110% right at this moment. Now you feel guilty because you're spending money and then you don't feel like you're fully enjoying it. So I think that is really good advice, but I'm going to give you this key point on how to stay present. Just don't think about what you're doing next.
Right. That's kind of
Yes.
exactly what I'm saying, where it's
Yeah.
like, don't think about like, this is the next thing I have to do, or this is what the timeline says, or this, like, you can stay present in this moment. And you have a team of people who will prompt you.
Yes, if we're really running behind, we'll grab your arm and
Yeah.
take you to the next place.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just enjoy.
Mhm.
But I mean, don't get us wrong. I do think wedding planning is very stressful, especially on the bride.
Yes.
It is stressful and it is difficult. And at the end of the day, you do you. Don't listen to anybody else.
No, that's what you want to do.
I was reading through your website today,
Mhm.
looking at your about page. You're a
Mhm.
Halloween gal.
I am a Halloween
Tell
gal.
us.
I love Halloween. I always have loved Halloween. So like, usually Halloween consists of 3 looks for me. We have like a family coordinated look, my husband and my dogs. That's like look one.
Like for a photo?
Photo or like trick or treating.
Okay.
Usually that's like trick or treating.
Okay.
But then like I usually have a look for like a Halloween party.
Okay.
And then we also typically have like a Halloween party at our house too. So I like to have my look set up for what we're doing. Yes. So
I love it.
I just love spooky stuff.
You just can't take the wedding planning
Out.
aesthetic out of Halloween.
Yes. Yes, I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. It's
That's
great.
so funny.
Uh-huh. Love
I
it.
Do you get a lot of trick-or-treaters?
We do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't get any. Yeah.
It's
It's so
sad.
sad.
We get like 200
Oh
usually.
my gosh.
Yeah.
200?
Yeah. We live
Wow.
in a subdivision with a lot of kids, so it's really
Wow.
fun. And the neighbors too now know that I'm like the queen of
Oh,
Halloween.
so it's
They're
a
like,
destination.
they're like, let's walk over to see what Megan's wearing.
So you really go all out with your
Yes,
outfit.
yes. My grandma was that way too, bringing it back to her. Like every year, she would kind of like avant-garde, like Halloween style would be something that's kind of like unique. I don't know. Like one year, she was like the Y2K bug, when like it was going to be like 2000 or whatever.
Oh my
So
gosh.
she like made this crazy costume that was like, yes, like she was just come up with really unique things. It's fun.
I love that.
Somehow that rubbed off on me.
I grew up with a mom who's extremely into Halloween.
That's fun.
So they do a lot of the decorations on like their lawn of their
Mhm.
house in a subdivision. So it is the destination house for that whole area. Everyone knows about it. I have not made as many Halloween costumes as I
That's
would have liked to say.
Dang.
I know. I don't know. You know what it probably is? Wedding
Season
season.
is
Yeah. And I'm sure
happening.
you run into that too, but it sounds like you're planning far in advance.
I do. I do. I do like to make my Halloween costume or at least like do some sort of like creative moment. I'm like, okay, it's August. It's time to start this. And like, I got to push through.
Do you have any ideas what you want to dress up as next year?
I don't yet. It's a little early, but normally one is like a pop culture kind of like thing. So it'll be like
Okay.
something from a movie or whatever that I
Mhm.
watched that I want
Mhm.
to do. I have like a few things that are like in the back of my mind and we'll see like what happens.
At some point in time, though.
Uh-huh. Keep them in my brain.
I love it. Quick story. My best friend and I, Alex Ingstrom, she's in Manistee, and we did a little like craft night at the local Manistee theater where everyone brings their like knitting and crochet. It was so
Oh.
fun. So you just show up, we got popcorn and we did our crafts. But it was the movie Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which is hilarious.
Mhm.
So tell us how that relates to you and your husband.
That relates to me and my husband because we met in that musical. So my husband was my suitor and I was Alice. The movie does not track for today's time. I
No,
just watched
it
it
is
recently.
very outdated.
It's like
You're like cringing through the whole thing. I hope the musical was a little better at least. I don't know. No? Okay. It's okay.
concept. Like everybody's getting kidnapped. So
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
how we met and it is fun to watch the movie back. But yeah,
That is so wild. So you were not dating at the time you did that?
no.
Oh, then what happened?
How it all works out is David's mom, that's my husband, was my choir teacher. So she was my choir teacher for 3.5 years. And she ended up switching careers. She was a principal. She ended up becoming a principal instead of like the music teacher in a different district. And so David was never in choir or did like the musicals with us because he didn't want his mom to be his teacher, which is very fair.
Understandable.
So Seven Brides for Seven Brothers has a huge cast because you have seven brides, seven brothers, and then you also have the suitors who are trying to like win the seven sisters' hearts, but they all choose the seven brothers. Spoiler alert. So David got brought in because they knew David could sing, and there was also a lot of dance numbers where we had to like lift people and stuff like that. So he was my suitor. He didn't win my heart in the musical, but he did in real life. So that's how we came to be.
Gosh, that's so funny.
It is funny.
Okay, your husband's name is David.
Mhm.
The two of you like to travel,
Oh, yes.
and you've been to all 50 states except for 3.
Mhm.
What are those 3?
Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho.
Okay, those are going to be fun states to go
They are
visit.
fun states. And
Yeah.
they're always on our radar, but it is so expensive to fly out there that we can go to Europe for the same
Oh, really?
flight cost. Yes. They're great states to go to. It's not that they're not like there's
Yeah.
so much to do in all
Yeah.
of them. So
Yeah. Well, Yellowstone's in Wyoming.
I
so
haven't
you
done that
done-
yet.
That'll be so fun. My husband and I really want to do that soon. Random, I had a bride from Idaho this year.
Really?
I know.
I love
I'm like,
that,
I've
though.
never met someone from Idaho before. She was really cool.
Hmm.
Very smart. Anyway, okay, so he is in the Michigan National Guard.
Mhm.
Tell us about this 6-month period where you could only send each other letters.
So that was years ago. That was when he was in basic training. So he would call me every once in a while, like every like couple months, we'd get like a quick phone call. But yeah, we only could talk by letter. So it was like the olden days. like
Oh my
mhm.
God.
And I did try to write him at least like 3 times a week, just to, like when you're in basic training, you're removed from like the outside world. So kind of like keep up with like pop culture in the world and like things that are going on because you're like,
So would you tell him some of these?
oh yes, like
Yeah,
I
keep him
remember
updated.
this is gonna age how long ago this was, but Game of Thrones had just come out and I had started watching it and was like, you are gonna love this show. It's called Game of Thrones. Like I can't wait to watch it with you when you get back. So funny.
That's
So
hilarious.
funny.
Were you married at this point?
Were we married at this point? No, not
No.
yet.
Oh
No.
my God. So even all the more so. Yeah,
Mhm.
that is so cute. It's kind
Mhm.
of like going back in time.
It really is.
Well, David, thank you for your service. Much appreciated. And that's a really cute story. So I love that. Does he work with you much now?
Hmm.
What does he do?
So he works full time for the National Guard, and actually, it's kind of funny. A lot of what he does is events too, which is kind of crazy. So I try to give him at least a weekend off because he does like drill once a month. He does have his own events. So typically once a month he works with me as like my assistant. Actually, he's been at all of the weddings I've done the past 3 weeks, but
Wow.
he's usually there as an event assistant, great for heavy lifting. We work really well together. I also think that's because he does events too. And because we've worked together so often, like I don't even have to tell him any direction. Like he knows. It's so great.
So good. I love that.
Mhm.
I unfortunately have the type of job where my husband can only do so much. He can't do
Yeah,
fittings with
yes,
brides, so
no.
but he does help in ways that he can. But I love hearing about that like husband-wife duo
Uh-huh.
business type of thing. When you first started your business, if you could give yourself one piece of advice for that moment in your life, what would you say?
You know, it was kind of a, I'm going to say scary time because I ended up quitting my full-time job and just being like, this could really be something if I like really try and just telling myself like it's going to be okay. Like it took off very quickly for me, which I'm very lucky, but for a lot of people too, I just tell them like keep trying, keep doing this because it will become something if you just work hard. So I think telling myself like it's going to be okay, you can do this is like what I would tell myself because it
Yeah.
was kind of crazy and
Just keep
hectic and
going.
wild, but it
Yeah.
happened, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Do you have any tips for someone that might want to try out entrepreneurship? Just
Mhm.
general advice.
I think that it's really great to job shadow. I'm not even saying like intern or anything. I'm always open to people coming with me and just like job shadowing the day because I think a lot of people, I'm just going to specifically talk about wedding planning, don't, they think it's glamorous when it is 100% not glamorous at all. So a lot of people who have job shadowed me, I will ask them like, did you like this? Like, how did it feel to you? And they'll say like, I didn't expect it to be like this. I didn't realize it was so hands-on and that I was going to be doing this and this, whatever it may be. And the other thing too, with our industry, specifically in Michigan, our summers are, and you know this too, because you're busy. It's not a great time to vacation. If you want to make money, you have to work on the weekends. And a lot of people I don't think realize like how many weddings that you have to do to be financially successful, I guess is the best way. Make
100%.
ends meet. This
Yeah,
is my livelihood. So
yeah.
I have to work on the weekends and through the summer. So like 4th of July, I'm not going up north with my family because I probably have the wedding that week or the week after. And it just is the way that it is.
Have you found like birthday parties and
Mhm.
your other extended family members' weddings? Like, have you
Yep.
had to miss a lot of those things?
Mhm. I always tell my family, like, if you have something that you want me at, I need to know and I will mark it off in my calendar because things book up for me a year in advance. So it's like, if you want me at X event, I have to know in advance or I will not be there. And it is disappointing sometimes. You know, I do miss out on moments, but I also am so fulfilled in my career that knowing that, like, I'm at my client's wedding also makes me happy too. And not saying that it makes like missing events less, but a family event, I can't be there. David will go instead, and I'll have an additional event assistant with me. So at least somebody is there, like representing us or like the
Yes.
bridal unit.
Yes.
But yeah, that's something that like I don't think a lot of people realize is that this is not glamorous. You are working on the weekends.
Yeah, that's a huge sacrifice.
Mhm.
And you see those criticisms all the time on social media of people being like, why do weddings cost so much? Like, this is ridiculous. It's just flowers. It's not that
Mhm.
expensive. Because you're making sacrifices like this
Yeah.
to like block off your calendar a year in advance
Mhm.
on the weekends, pretty much only. I mean, there's just a huge amount of sacrifice and you need to make it worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's a lot, but
Mhm.
I'm so glad you're embracing it.
Yeah, I do.
It's a tough lifestyle,
Mhm.
that's for sure. I think about that too with my business. I'm like, it's not a job, it's a lifestyle.
Yes, that's truly what it is.
Yeah, it's fun and it's
Mhm.
amazing, but there are a lot of sacrifices that go on the back end that you'll never hear about probably.
Yeah.
So
We'll see too. It's important once you get to a certain point because for years I'm hustling, you know, I'm building this business. I'm not taking any time off. And now it's like if I have marked off for a vacation, I'm sticking with that and keeping that marked off on my calendar because I know like this is the only weekend I'm going to have off for 8 weeks or whatever it may be. So that's important too. But
yeah,
you have to get to that point, I feel like.
yeah, you have to plan that out so
So
far.
far in advance. Yes.
That's like not normal like human behavior to like plan that out so
far in
but
advance. Yeah.
yeah, and then people think you're crazy when you're like, what are you doing next October? And it's like, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. But I'm like, I need to know though.
Right,
Like, when are
right.
you planning your kid's birthday party? I need to
Right,
know.
exactly.
So anyway, okay, this was a really fun chat. We went a little over in time, but I just like was so enjoying chatting with you. So thank you, Megan, for being here.
I loved it. Let's do it again because I feel like
yeah.
there's so much.
There's so much to talk about.
There
I know.
really is. It could just go on.
Yeah, I know. I would love to do this again because usually, like when I interview someone, I want to talk about your business and everything, but there's so many things, little pockets of wedding industry stuff in general that we could dive deeper into. So I'm sure this will not be the last time, but thank you everyone for listening. This is Megan, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode has allowed you to approach the world with greater confidence in your own personal style. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out through email or the inquiry form on the website. I hope you are all ready to go and get dressed up. I look forward to sharing more dressing up tips with you in future episodes. Thanks so much.